All right, everyone. So we are working on painting or coloring techniques. This video is going to talk about using layers and the tips of using the eyedropper tool and selecting a color palette. So let's go ahead and bring in an image. And I am going to start with one of the snowflakes that we had for an assignment this week. Comes in extremely large, but we can shrink it down. In order to shrink it down, I just selected the middle column and used two fingers, click it and drag down. Then I'm also going to click this one and turn it sideways. And this last column will allow you to move it around as you see fit. I think I will put it right there and sit it right over here on the screen. Now, I left this space on my side over here on this white space to allow me to use it for a color palette to pick my colors. And define my color puck. Now, I have the image layer, and then I've got a layer below it, and I've got my background layer. Now, if I ever decide I want to change my background layer, I can select this and change my background layer to whatever color I might want, if you're interested in changing that. Okay, so we've got the image in here, and we're going to talk about working with layers. So I'm going to go ahead and select my image layer, and I'm going to make a copy of it. So there's a copy of it. And we can control the opacity of our layer like so, and visibility of it using this. All right. Now, there are a couple different ways to paint, and I strongly recommend that you grab your tools over here, which you can click on this up here to pull your brush library out and test them out. If you hover over top of it, it shows you what it is. This is an airbrush, so I can control the settings of my airbrush by clicking the sliders, and I can change that if I see fit. And what I mean by testing them out is click a tool and come over here and just test it out to see what it looks like, to see how it looks like underneath of your layers or inside of your layers. Try the inking pen. Remember, this color puck over here can actually change the size. So that's really, really large, but maybe I want it to be dropped down like this. And anytime that you do something you don't like, Control Z is a really quick, easy way to go back. Undo anything that you don't want done. So back to my brush library. We've got different kinds of brushes over here. Or if you like markers, there are plenty of marker options with the Copic library. Copic markers right here. You can click on these. Let's see. All right. There they are, Copic markers. So we've got different size Copic markers. And with the markers, you'll notice just like markers are, they're very transparent, which means that you can see through them. So testing out your tools over here is a very good idea. And Control Z when you want to get rid of it, or select the eraser tools. We have plenty of eraser tools over here as well. So I am going to go ahead and select a couple colors and show you how to blend with them and work with them real quick. So if I select this color here, grab a marker, put down a little bit of color, and put a little bit of purple right here next to it. I can use the smudge or blur tools right here. This is a smear, sharpen, blur. So if I smear these together, I can nice and easily smooth them together. So it's a really good way to blend colors together. All right. And another thing that I wanted to tell you in this video is a technique with the color picker. So we've got our eyedropper tool or a color picker here. So if I want this color right here, come over here and I can select that color and come over here to my flood tool, my paint bucket. And I want to put a solid color, or I could put a linear gradient or a radial fill. Any of the above works, but we're going to start with just a simple color fill. And I will select get rid of the cop. There we go. So I can go in here and just start filling in entire sections of my snowflake. Oh, Control Z, went a little bit off to the side. And that's okay. If you click on the wrong area at any point in time, just click Control Z or undo and it's perfectly fine. All right, so I put all those colors in. Now I want to go get the other color. And I've got this little patch right here, this little swatch. So I can come over here and I can do the same thing with my other color. So I use this side area as a palette so that I can have the colors that I want to use at my disposal, easily accessible. And we can try a little airbrush technique. So I'm going to increase the size of it, and maybe I want to do a little bit of a airbrush technique real quick. Change the color up, and we'll now this top layer is the same thing, but it's okay. So I've got my airbrush technique, which looks very smooth, no brush strokes of any sort. And then I've got the color fill. There's also paintbrushes in here, which we can pick real quick. And you notice that the paintbrushes act a little bit different. They smudge, just like a paintbrush would. And let's see, heavy flat bristle. All right, so again, we go back to testing and trying different things. So I'm going to select slightly darker color here. And go over here to my layer. All right, so we've got a little bit of a smudging to this paintbrush. And the more you build it up, the more you smudge. So I put this over here, and maybe test out another brush real quick just to see. Go with web brush. There we go. That's kind of interesting. So we've got a web brush, which when you do that, leaves a web or can be circled. All right. Now I can use my eyedropper tool over here to select the color. That changed my color. Or if I want to select this color, changes my color over here. So I'm going to select can be very touchy when you're using your stylus. There we go. Okay. There we go. Got my color selected. All right. So with these brushes, I'm going to come over here and do this. And then I can smear them. And yeah, kind of looks interesting.